Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a genuinely powerful system to stop wasting your after work hours. You know that feeling, right? You finish up a long day, drag yourself home, and suddenly, bam, it's time for bed, and you're left wondering where the heck the time went. Well, we're going to completely reframe how you look at those evening hours. We're taking them from exhausted leftover time and turning them into, quite literally, your biggest asset for personal and professional growth.
So, think about the number 22,000. If you live to be 80 years old, you get exactly 22,000 evenings as an adult. That's it. That is the whole shebang, your entire allotment. And how you choose to spend those specific hours, that ultimately decides the kind of life you wake up to the next morning. It's kind of a staggering thought when you put a hard limit on it like that, isn't it?
And to really wrap our heads around why those 22,000 evenings matter so much, let's put it into perspective. On average, a full-time worker puts in about 45 work weeks a year. But those 1,437 leisure hours you get annually, they actually equate to almost 36 weeks. Your after-work hours aren't just some tiny, insignificant leftover scrap of the day. You essentially have almost an entire second career hiding inside your year, just waiting to be tapped into. To reclaim this massive chunk of hidden time, we're going to walk through 5 steps today based on the 3 C's framework. We'll audit your time, match work to your clock, set your compass, assess your climate, and finally build the enough evening routine. Step 1, audit your evening account. Now, this first module requires a total mindset shift. See, your free time isn't actually free. I mean, it sounds like it costs nothing, right? But every hour carries a very real opportunity cost. We need to start treating your evenings exactly like a bank account. You've got deposits, you've got withdrawals, and worst of all, you've got debt. Let's break that account down. First, you have deposits. These are true state-changing forms of recovery. If you've had a wildly stressful day, cooking a great meal, practicing an instrument, or just reading 10 pages of a good book, those are massive deposits. Then you have withdrawals, which is your mindless doom scrolling or binge-watching hours of TV. And finally, there's debt. You know that forced late-night work where you're trying to squeeze out just a few more emails? Yeah, you are just taking on biological debt there, and you are absolutely going to pay for it the next morning. That brings us to step 2. Match work to your clock. This is the first C of our framework, the clock. And right out of the gate, we need to abandon a massive productivity myth. We constantly hear that to be a massive success, you've got to copy some billionaire's 4 a.m. wake-up routine. But the truth is, waking up at 4 a.m. alone doesn't magically make you a great leader. I mean, Barack Obama and Winston Churchill, famous night owls. You really just have to discover your own biological chronotype. Some of us naturally come alive with the sunrise, and others don't really hit their stride until it's pitch black out. Listen, if your absolute best, most focused hour is 1 a.m., use it. But there is a catch. You can only do this if your life allows you to protect your sleep on the other side. Basically, don't borrow from tomorrow to fund tonight. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is to match the type of work you're doing to your biological clock. You want to use your sharpest hours for precision work that demands deep focus, then use those looser, kind of uninhibited hours for imagination and brainstorming. And when you hit your depleted hours, that time is strictly for closure and recovery. Please, never ask your exhausted brain to do your sharpest thinking. It just doesn't work. Okay, step 3, set your evening compass. This is the second C. You've audited your account, you know your clock, but where are you actually going? Your compass ensures your evening bank account is actually funding the right long-term directions. To set it, there are 3 directions you have to balance. First step is your vocational direction, which is all about your future-facing skills. The author of our source material talks about spending his early career in this dark, dingy server room in Boston. Every single evening, he poured his time into studying tech and networking, which was great for securing his future. But he actually admits he fell into a huge trap. He completely ignored his physical and emotional directions. He ended up lonely, battling harsh winters alone. And the lesson there is super clear. If you ignore your physical and emotional investments, your professional success is going to become an incredibly heavy, lonely burden to carry. Moving right along to step 4, assess your current climate. This is the final C, the climate, and it's really where the rubber meets the road. Because let's be real, sometimes your beautiful, picture-perfect evening routine is absolutely not going to survive contact with reality. Your evenings have to adapt when the climate of your life shifts. There's a really stark contrast here between peacetime and wartime. In peacetime, your evenings can compound. You read, you learn, you grow. But wartime, that's a whole different beast. Think about Sam Altman at OpenAI. When Google launched Gemini, Altman literally declared a code red.
They dropped all their side projects to focus entirely on their core ChatGPT engine. That is a wartime climate. When you're in a crazy busy season, maybe you're raising a newborn or navigating a massive all-consuming project at work, you are in wartime. During those phases, you just have to narrow the night and focus strictly on survival.
And that leads us perfectly into step 5, the enough evening routine. Because real life involves delayed trains, sick kids, client fires, and endless piles of laundry, we can't just rely on some fictional utopian routine when things get tough. When your climate is rough, we need a bulletproof fallback plan. We call this the enough evening routine, and it boils down to 3 simple steps. First, remove. Just eliminate the tiny decisions. There's a very good reason Steve Jobs wore the same turtleneck and presidents wear the same suits. They remove small decisions to save their mental energy. Second is reflect. And third, relentlessly protect your rest. Let's look a little closer at those last 2. For the reflect step, you honestly don't need an hour of deep philosophical journaling. Just take 2 minutes before bed to ask yourself 3 really simple grounding questions. What did I learn today? What did I improve? And what made me smile? It's a quick, easy habit, but it's shared by some of the most centered, high-performing people on the planet. And finally, rest. I absolutely love this quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson about how sleep is biologically absurd. I mean, we spend a third of the day completely unconscious and vulnerable. Yet evolution explicitly chose it because it is just that critical. That fact alone should humble us enough to actually protect our sleep. Try creating a 15-minute landing strip ritual to just power down your brain and banish those devices from the bedroom. Seriously, Harvard studies have proven that device screens suppress melatonin and mess with your body clock. Just put the phone away. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one pivotal question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own life. Look at your bank account of time and ask yourself, how are you going to spend your precious 22,000 evenings? Will they be enough to return you to the person you really want to be? To help you master this system and dive even deeper into taking back your time, make sure you grab the companion ebook titled 5 Things to Do Instead of Wasting Your Evenings. You'll find it linked right down in the description below. Thanks for hanging out and learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.